Tonight, an emotional homecoming in New West Valley for the crew of a missing fishing boat.
I didn't know what to do. But I knew he was coming home.
7 fishermen missing for days in the middle of the North Atlantic have been rescued and were greeted with a hero's welcome back home. And a different kind of homecoming in Western Labrador as wildfire evacuees return to the region. We'll take you there. Plus, police accuse a 71-year-old man of impaired driving 6 months after 2 young women died in a highway crash.
This is CBC Here and Now.
Good evening and welcome to Here and Now. We begin with an incredible story of survival. 7 fishermen lost at sea have returned home safely. The Transportation Safety Board of Canada says it's now investigating a fire on board the fishing vessel Elite Navigator. The fire is believed to have begun in the ship's engine room on Wednesday evening, forcing the 7 men on board into a life raft that drifted on the Atlantic Ocean for more than 2 days. But all 7 men are safe at home this evening. And Here Now's Arlette Lazarenko was at their emotional homecoming.
In this Newfoundland fishing community, the sound of celebration, of life, and what so many here are calling a miracle. The incredible survival of the crew of the Elite Navigator, a group of men now known as the Lucky 7.
Not just a miracle, but 7 miracles, because they were all saved.
Just days ago, so many here were gripped with fear. The boat had vanished on the water. The crew now says there was a fire, and it sank.
It was happening to us. I couldn't believe it was happening, right?
They scrambled to abandon ship. 2 crew members couldn't swim. Quick thinking got them all in a life raft, but fog complicated the search and time dragged on.
We worked well together and we took care of each other and we knew we'd get through it eventually.
I had a little bit of doubt for myself on the last night because I was wet and cold when I was getting colder and colder. I said, this is not good for me, right? But when I heard that chopper come over, I said, all the warmth was back in my body, I'll tell you that.
After nearly 3 days, the Coast Guard finally spotted the crew's last red flare.
All of a sudden, I heard the chopper turn around and the spotlight come on me, and it's just crazy.
An end to their nightmare and their families waiting at home.
I didn't have much hope, I gotta be honest.
The whole world was just taken right away from me at that time, right? And I said, oh no, they're gonna make it.
Their homecoming on Saturday was met with cheers and tears and relief. Now they are being celebrated by the Premier.
Welcome home.
And their community, who gathered by the hundreds to celebrate together and cheer on their heroes.
This is a homecoming many here will remember for a long time, and it will be marked in another way too. The Premier says the province will create some kind of a recognition, like a statue, to celebrate the safe return of the Lucky 7. Arlette Lazarenko, CBC News, New West Valley, Newfoundland and Labrador.
Well, Lucky 7 indeed. What an incredible story. Arlette Lazarenko joins us now to tell us more about what happened in New West Valley over the weekend. So Arlette, you know, it's one thing for us to see the video like we just did, a whole other thing to be there in person like you were. What was it like when the crew finally arrived ashore?
Well, let me tell you, Carolyn, the day was just full of emotion. I mean, when we arrived, there were so many people there. I would say in the hundreds, right? Residents from the community came. I mean, I saw signs. And so when they finally arrived, there was a little small section that only family members could be in. And we were right there with them, trying to capture that moment. And I'm telling you, Carolyn, when the fishermen arrived, they were immediately greeted with hugs and kisses. And there was a lot of tears, there was a lot of joy, a lot of cheers, so much clapping. And just to see the families reunited, it was incredible.
Yeah, it's such a rare thing to have such a positive ending with this kind of story. And we saw you there in their kitchen, you know, speaking with several members of the crew and their families. Out of everything that they said, what What stood out for you the most?
Well, it was really interesting. You know, we had the several crew members in there, and I remember asking them, you know, you were there at sea for a couple of days, not sure if you're ever going to make it back. And something that more than one person said is that they were not really worried about themselves, but about the family waiting for them. They were worried about their family, you know, just losing sleep while they are, you know, still alive.
What was it like for you to be there right in the middle of it as everyone was cheering and celebrating?
Oh, it was just incredible to see all these people. I mean, you know, this is a small fishing community in rural Newfoundland. You know, they're all very close. And I remember going to different people and I see people sobbing and was so happy. And I'm just asking, look, are you a family member? And it's like, no, but we know these people. You know, we know them. We grew up with them. They are friends. They are pretty much family, right? The community is small. I think it's 2,200 people. And they're just so close, and they were waiting just on them to just come and celebrate them. I mean, this again, happy news that, you know, these fishermen lost at sea and they returned, and, you know, they're called the Lucky Seven, right? So it was just amazing for me.
And I truly feel like all of that joy and the celebration extended well beyond the community of New West Valley, just straight across the province. A lot of people just so happy that they returned home safely. And great reporting, Arlette. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Carolyn.
More positive news. Residents of Labrador City are heading home. Wildfires forced the government to evacuate the community more than a week ago. The order uprooted almost 10,000 people, forcing many of them 500 kilometers down the road to Happy Valley Goose Bay. Now, firefighters are still monitoring hot spots, and the fire is still a Category 1, but over the weekend, essential workers were allowed to return. And today, the order was officially lifted for everyone.
At 3 o'clock on a Friday, like I said, I was prepared to go on vacation, and I came up to check on things, and the guy said, look, we're in good shape, things are going well. Within less than an hour, it was, you need to put out an evacuation alert. And I was standing on the bridge of the town hall of Labrador City, and you could see the smog coming over, similar to an apocalypse or something, and you were like, what is happening?
So you left Friday night when the evacuation was called?
Yes, at first we're really hesitant, like we're really confused, is this really happening? But of course, the town just want us safe, so we really went to Churchill and then Goose Bay. It was good. It was good because they made us feel safe and secured.
We sold our old camper to a couple from Goose Bay. When we got over, we ran into them and they invited us to stay in our old camper. So we were like, well, this is home to us too. So we had a really good experience. Everybody treated us wonderful.
When you got home, you know, how'd you feel?
Very good because I miss my bed and I miss my home, right?
It was actually a really great week, but I really am glad to be home, so thankful to be able to come back to my own home.
And what was it like to get to your house today?
Tears of joy. The cats were excited to be home, and just a relief that we left everything the way it was and we came back to the familiar again, and just so thankful and happy.
There's a lot of emotion here today to realize it's over, what we went through, what it took to get here, but got here with no injury, no deaths, kept our infrastructure in place and our homes, and we came back safely, and the business are surviving, and we're going to do well. These guys work extremely hard to protect your homes and cabins and make sure that we came back to a full community, including the cabin areas. I'm telling you, they are on a mission. Those guys are incredible.
Yeah, the weather certainly cooperated up across parts of Labrador. Cooler weather certainly helping as well. And that's the story today for a good chunk of the Big Land. The island as well, much more comfortable temperatures. We've seen a drop in that dew point, which means the humidity. We've seen some relief from that humidity, and we're really going to see some relief from that through most of the week this week. Area of low pressure with a couple of fronts associated with it, a couple of cold fronts. That is where most of that cooler air is up across the Big Land. And you can see that northerly flow leading to that colder air. And we've got westerly winds across the island. Some showers happening right now as well for parts of the west coast. Very light showers, but they're moving through onshore, it looks like, in that wind. And that risk will end as we head through tonight. As far as the temperatures go, temperatures are actually going to warm up across the island as we head through the week. Some temperatures into the mid-20s, certainly possible, but again, a lot more comfortable than what we've been seeing. We will slowly see that temperature climb up across the Big Land, cooling again as we head towards the weekend. We'll get into all the details coming up.
Thanks, Ashley. Well, now to some news from the courts. Police have charged a Mount Pearl man in connection with a highway crash that killed two 22-year-old women in January. 71-year-old Austin Deere is accused of impaired operation of a vehicle causing death and dangerous operation of a vehicle causing death. Haley Keating and Aaron Priddy were on a day trip to Clarenville when they collided with Deere's SUV on the Trans-Canada Highway near Arnold's Cove. Priddy died at the scene while Keating died in hospital a week later. The RCMP say Deere was pulled from his burning vehicle with serious injuries and showed signs of impairment, but police didn't lay charges for 6 months after that.
Investigations like these are oftentimes very complex and can take, any amount of time. In this particular case, the blood results that were obtained some time ago were only one piece of evidence as part of the investigation. Given the loss of life in this one, there was a higher expectation for answers immediately. And, we have to follow our investigative steps to ensure that we have the evidence to pursue charges. So this, like no other, when a sample of blood or blood is obtained as a result of an impaired driving investigation, we don't have those results immediately. We can't place charges until toxicology results come back. Oftentimes then that may lead to further testing or extrapolations in some cases. And we're certainly pleased that we've gotten to this point in the investigation, and now those charges, they lay before the court to determine the outcome.
Well, 2 weeks of Pride events in St. John's culminated with the annual parade on Sunday. It led participants from City Hall to Bannerman Park, giving them a chance to celebrate the community's growth and to address the challenges it still faces.
We have about 1,000 people that registered as groups, so as corporate groups or community groups, and then we'll have hundreds that just come down as their own individuals that show up to march with the parade this year. And the response this year from the community has been really great, because I think we generated a lot of discussion around what Pride is and what Pride means. And what started the Pride movement in Toronto and in New York was that people were attacked and people's livelihoods were destroyed and their lives were destroyed just for being who they are. So Pride started as that protest to exist, people to be who themselves and be able to live in our society like that. So to see where we've gone now in this evolution where it's a privilege to be a part of a Pride parade now. For any organization that's come out, any community group that's coming out with us today, we're in a position now where this movement's been going on for decades. And it's a privilege for any of us to be able to do this and to be able to march down the city streets. And we have to continue to do it, because as we see that rising hate and rising animosity towards our community, it's important to show, especially young people that are coming through or people who are disconnected from the community, that there is a large group of allies and queer people who are here to support you and protect you. And that's why these days are so important, and that's why these festivals are so important.
My first parade back here after being away for many years was last year. So it was awe-inspiring to come as a spectator to see how large St. John's Pride has grown. And I'm just really fortunate to be here today to be helping it along. I mean, we were doing it for years back in the day when I left, before I left, and it is exponentially grown. Different generations as well. It's important to be there, particularly as a trailblazer or a mentor, now to a new generation of people who also are trying to find their place in the world. So that visibility and that cross-generational communication is extremely important. It feels exciting to have a population of people coming together at least for one day where people can feel safe and supported, celebrated, calm, You know what I mean? Yeah, it feels good. It feels normal, right? Whatever normal is. But this was an everyday occurrence whenever I lived anywhere else. But in St. John's, it's the way it should be. It's the way it should be.
Well, after a local art lover found a mural in a snowbank, it now hangs on the Benevolent Irish Society building on Harvey Road in St. John's. Helen Gregory's Sheila's brush needed a complete restoration before being hung there. The two artists spoke with Jamie Fitzpatrick on the St. John's Morning Show today.
I mean, it's been looking rough for quite a while, and like rougher and rougher. And it was also something that I almost felt self-conscious about, because sort of the more it kind of decayed, the more it like revealed the areas like that I had struggled with when I was painting it. It's like, like the finished result looked really great, but like that's because it hides the parts that were difficult for me. Then, there was this whole kind of community like call to action, and it was really exciting for me because it was very clear that the mural was about a lot more than me.
I did know the mural because I've been here 21 years, and it was been here since I came in, and I recognized. I thought, okay, yeah, that might be a good thing to do. And I looked at the pictures and said, well, it's in rough shape, but considering what it was with the pictures, I didn't know what the original had been. None of us at this point really had any clue what kind of damage it was. And I thought, oh, yeah, it shouldn't be too bad, and I'll get involved. And so I volunteered to do that. And then we started it all.
Come to terms with the idea that somebody was essentially going to be like painting over my painting. I looked Gary up, and I had a lot of confidence. He's incredibly talented and skilled, and I knew that part would be fine. It started to become more clear that like all of the source material that they had, like nothing like dated back to the early days. Like in every case, there was already like fading and damage done. So there was nothing, as Gary said, nothing to really refer to that was the original image. So I kind of went down into my basement. I dug through old photos. Like I knew I must have some pictures of it somewhere. So I did manage to find some. I mean, my God, some of them were Polaroids. They were not great photos, but what you could see was the color.
Yeah, it's okay. And even Helen goes, but it's just not right. And when she found these, it was like this whole world opened, and we really discovered, and she was discovering as well, oh my goodness, look what's here. I didn't even know. I did this, I did that. And I would take them and I would scan them and blow them up, and I'd send them back to her, and I go, Helen, these were silver, right? And she's going, silver? What do you mean silver? There was no, oh yes, there was silver. So it sort of spurred all this memory of it, and from that, it was like some kind of, forensic artistic cold case.
Yeah, it's really exciting for me to see it, and just, the level of community sort of excitement. The fact that Diana and Gary and Chris, they had this idea and they followed through. I mean, it's taken, two years from the discovery to getting it back up there. It
was a very community-based thing. There were so many people involved, and it was kind of great because everybody was excited about it, and it stretched on for a long time, but it's done, and it's worth it.
I think what we've got here today is a celebration of life. Too many times those things end in tragedy. Finally, we got one that ends in a happy ending, eh?
Well, coming up, we're heading to New West Valley, where friends and family of 7 fishermen rescued from the North Atlantic gathered for an emotional welcome.
And the nice weather this weekend has continued into this week. We've got some much cooler temperatures, more comfortable temperatures that will last as well. We'll get into all the details coming up.
Oh, such a beautiful weekend, Ashley. And another little bit of good news. The fire ban was lifted on Saturday for the island portion of the province.
Yeah, that's right. But still definitely in effect for the Labrador portion of the province, and that it will be in effect until further notice. But these cooler temperatures certainly helping with everything, and then the rain as well. And some more rain really in the forecast over the next couple of days. But let's take a look at what happened today. Temperatures are in the teens for most of the Big Land. Single digits, though, for the North Coast, only about 9 degrees in Nain, Makkovik at the same temperature. You head down towards the coast, though, temperatures between 16 and 20 degrees. And then the island, pretty nice, more comfortable temperatures today. We said goodbye to that humidity. Dew points much less than they have been over the last week or so. It's still beautiful, though. 24 degrees this afternoon in St. John's. If we take a look at what's going on with the satellite, we can see that northerly flow bringing in some of that cooler air. The risk of some thunderstorms for Happy Valley Goose Bay, it doesn't look likely, but there is the risk over the next couple of hours. And then we definitely have some showers working their way across the western portion of the island at the moment as well. Again, nothing too significant, but they're there, but they're not going to last very long as we head through the next couple of hours. Temperatures at the moment are down to the teens for the west coast, currently 18 degrees. Have that humidity on there just to show you the lack of it. So 22 degrees in St. John's only feels like 23, and really up across Labrador, it is chilly, 7 degrees right now in Makkovik. And temperatures overnight tonight are going to stay chilly across the Big Land as well. As far as the humidity goes over the next couple of days, we will stay comfortable. A little bit of, it might feel a bit muggy as we get towards Friday, just briefly though, and then that will drop off. And up across Labrador, you're looking at some pretty dry conditions, really right through, dry and cool right through most of the week, but a little bit muggy as we head towards Thursday. But again, this won't last long. By Friday, we'll be back to those dry conditions. Now, as far as tonight goes, the chance of showers will linger for at least the coast of Labrador. Otherwise, things should clear out for the most part, and a generally quiet night tonight as well across the island. Those westerly winds are going to stick around, though, as we head through tonight. They'll be a bit breezy with westerlies gusting around 20 to 40 kilometers per hour, mainly for the eastern portion of the island. But overall temperatures tonight will dip between 12 to about 16 degrees, so a pretty lovely night tonight. Labrador, other than that chance of showers, you're looking at temperatures between 10 to 11 degrees, except again single digits for the north coast as well as Lab City, down to about 4 degrees tonight. And for tomorrow, we're looking at a pretty lovely start to the day. We should see some sunshine at least. The coast of Labrador will hang on to some cloud cover, maybe a few showers, but you will see that clear in the afternoon. And then it does look like some cloud cover will develop across Labrador with the chance of a few showers in the mix. We may see a few pop-up showers across the island as well into the afternoon. Overall, this should be high cloud, though, and that will move in late day and through the overnight period across the island. Now, as far as temperatures go for tomorrow, we are looking at daytime highs somewhere between 19 to about 25 degrees. Those winds will be westerly, 20 to 40 kilometers per hour. So a bit breezy through the day, but again, lack that humidity. Will feel beautiful tomorrow afternoon. Through central, you're looking at temperatures between 20 to 25 degrees, a little cooler for the south coast, 19 degrees in Harbour Breton with lots of sunshine though. And as we head towards the west coast, again, winds for you as well, 20 to 40 kilometers per hour, anywhere from 20 to 22 degrees through the day, except Burgeo hover around 19. Same thing for the northern peninsula, southeastern Labrador, you're looking at temperatures in the around 21 degrees for Mary's Harbour. Northwesterlies for you, 20 to 40 kilometers per hour. So those of you towards the coast will certainly see temperatures a tad cooler than that. And then anywhere from 14 to 18 degrees for Lab West and the north coast. Happy Valley Goose Bay, you're going to see the chances of a few showers maybe through the afternoon and a high near 21 degrees. Now you are looking at temperatures warming up a little bit as we head towards the end of the week. I'll get into that coming up in the long range.
Thanks, Ashley. We'll take you back now to New West Valley, where hundreds gathered to celebrate the crew of the Elite Navigator yesterday. The 7 men on board the fishing boat were found safely after abandoning ship on Wednesday evening. The small Northeast Coast community threw a parade in honor of the men they're calling the Lucky 7.
I think what we've got here today is a celebration of life. Too many times those things end in tragedy. Finally, we got one that ends in a happy ending, eh? And we could all use a good luck and a happy story, eh?
By the time Friday evening came, we kind of, gave up hope. Then at about 11:30 Friday night, I was lying down with the grandkids, and my husband started to scream, and I ran, and he was just screaming, "They're all alive, they're all alive." Then we all started to cry and scream, and it's all, from there it's history.
And of course, when we got the news, it was yes, 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 thank you, God, thank you. And so it's been not just a miracle, but 7 miracles, because they were all saved. And we're so grateful to God. Many prayers answered.
We have such a community outpouring of spirit and togetherness, as you can see here in the past couple of days. So it's wonderful to see the community coming out for such an event. But the 7 men, are the story, are the heroes.
Oh, it's been very emotional. I was actually camping at Lumsden North Beach, and we just kept refreshing Facebook. And when I opened it up, it was like, wow. I said to my husband, they've been found, all 7. It was like, and every post I read now, it's hard to even read them without being emotional. I cry over every post that I read. There's so much excitement.
I was devastated because I had 2 distant cousins on her, and my granddaughter-in-law had a first cousin there. So that was, very emotional. And I didn't know the other men, but I felt so sad, and I cried for 2 days. Yeah, it was so sad. And then yesterday morning, my daughter called me, and I'm not going to do this.
That's okay. It's okay.
And she said, "Mom, they're found." And I said, "Well, all 7 of them?" She said, "Yes, they're all well," she said. And I said, "Praise the Lord." I said, "Thank you, Lord."
Taking a stroll through Starry Night will take you inside the work of Vincent van Gogh's masterpieces at a new exhibit at the St. John's Convention Center called Beyond Van Gogh. That's coming up. A new exhibit at the St. John's Convention Centre allows visitors to feel like they're stepping inside a Vincent van Gogh painting. Over 300 of the artist's masterpieces are showcased through projections and light. Have a look.
So Beyond Van Gogh is really about blending cutting-edge projection technology along with Vincent's painting in order to allow the audience to literally set foot into the paintings themselves, to be part of this world, to experience it in a whole new way. It is very different from a museum experience. It doesn't seek to replace it. There's nothing like the magic of an original Van Gogh, but there's something so phenomenal about just being able to step into one. Van Gogh is what we call a post-impressionist painter. What that means is that he's sort of the connecting dot between Impressionism and Expressionism. What that means is that he's not just painting what he sees like the Impressionist, he's also painting what he perceives. He's painting what he feels. And he's sort of a unique case in art history where you don't have to know much about art history at all to be able to identify a Van Gogh. So we call this place the Introduction Hall, and it's exactly that. It's a place that you get to meet Vincent in. It's about reading some information about his work, about what makes it so relatable and so still relevant, but also reading his own words and having quotes like we have on this panel here. He has such a treasure trove of information that he left us with these letters that he wrote to his brother, mainly to his brother Theo, over the course of 18 years. And through these, you really have a sense of who he was. He shares everything with his brother, the childlike wonders, and sometimes there's philosophical depth about him. Just so much more than what we associate him with when we only bring him back to the darkness of the ear-cutting incident and this idea of a mad genius.
Tell us about the ear-cutting incident. I think it's pretty well known. It's a pretty famous thing, but just for anyone who doesn't know, what happened to his ear?
So the only testimony, the only witness we have to this incident is another painter called Paul Gauguin, because Vincent himself doesn't have any recollection of that moment. He blacked out almost entirely. And how trustworthy of a witness is Paul Gauguin, we're not quite sure. But according to him, they were living together in the south of France because they were trying to put together a community of like-minded artists. And at the beginning, they were getting along fine, but both of them had pretty strong tempered. And at some point, it wasn't working out. And Gauguin, again, how trustworthy is he, told us that he threatened to leave, and Vincent was having sort of a rattle reaction, frenzied reaction, and he grabbed a razor blade and apparently threatened Gauguin with it. And Gauguin said he was having none of it, slammed the door and left. And according to him, Vincent was left alone, and then we can only speculate that out of guilt, out of anger, out of shame, out of multiple things, he turned the blade against himself and cut parts of his ear. Eventually, he packed up all his things, closed the house in Arles, and moved to the Saint-Rémy-de-Provence and walked himself to the Saint Paul Asylum, where he stayed and where eventually he'll paint Starry Night.
Walking in here at a perfect time, Starry Night, coming up here on the screens. Can you tell us why this is such an iconic piece of work?
I think people can relate to the thing that he painted that we cannot see, but we all know is there. The power is in nature. It's something that he felt very strongly about, that nature is sublime. And you know what I like about this scene particularly is that when it starts, it's almost abstract, because you only have these particles, you only have these swirls, and yet instantly everybody knows what painting is coming.
Yes.
Before we see anything about the village, about the tree, what we remember of this painting is its energy, it's the flow, it's the movement. There's something that is so powerful about it. And there's a reason why it's on coffee mugs and notebooks and pillows and stuff like that. We want to live with this image. It's part of our lives for a reason. It's something we all gravitate toward, that kind of power.
Come with me on an imaginary walk along Harbour Drive, where the views of St. John's Harbour can be enjoyed through the bars of a fence. I'm Sarah Antle, and I've been learning a lot about the harbour fence over the last couple of weeks. Let me walk you through it. Yeah, this fence has been subject to some passionate conversations.
I say shame on the city for the lack of public engagement right off the bat.
Over a decade later, people are still talking about it. But it's a good time to get off the fence and give us your vision. So if you were given the power to reimagine the space, what would it look like? But first, a quick trip through history. For over 500 years, the St. John's Harbour has been a working harbourfront for merchants and modern fishermen. For decades, fishing fleets from everywhere would come to this harbour to do business. In 1965, the St. John's Port Authority took ownership. And over the years, the harbour became home to industrial activity, like the supply ships that work in the offshore oil industry and the container ships that hold many of the goods imported into eastern Newfoundland. Okay, so obviously lots has happened between the 60s and now, including peace, love, and long walks on the harbour front, which so many people enjoy, until the year was 2012. That's when the St. John's Port Authority called for permanent fencing along the harbour front as a security measure. Sean Hanrahan, president and CEO of the Port Authority, said a Transport Canada audit revealed vulnerabilities that put the port's security certification at risk. But as they say, or don't, there are two sides to every fence. And Transport Canada told CBC they were actually satisfied with the port's existing security plan and that they hadn't instructed the port to erect new fencing at all. There were protests, debates, and a social media campaign, #StopTheHarborFence. But despite all that noise, the fence as we know it was still built in 2015. It's almost a decade later, and we're wondering, what's up with the fence these days? It's still a source of conversation and contention. Even the leader of our province, Premier Andrew Furey, takes issue with the fenced-in harbour. He wrote the Federal Minister of Transport just last year to ask if anything could be done about the fence. He questioned, is there anything to like about the fence? Well, is there? It's not a rhetorical question. I'm actually asking you. And if you take offense to the fence, and you could reimagine the St. John's Harbour front, what would it look like? We want to hear from you. Visit cbc.ca/NL to read more about this issue and to share your visions and your ideas.
Well, U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris has made her first public appearance since entering the race to be the Democratic Party's nominee for president. She's gaining support and now appears to be the most likely candidate to lead the party into the November election after President Joe Biden announced he's withdrawing from the presidential race. Today, Harris was filling in for Biden at a White House event. She used the opportunity to praise her boss. CBC's Ellen Morrow has more.
All eyes on Kamala Harris, praising President Joe Biden as momentum builds for her to replace him on the Democratic ticket.
Joe Biden's legacy of accomplishment over the past 3 years is unmatched in modern history, and we are deeply, deeply grateful for his service to our nation.
Hundreds of Democratic lawmakers are now backing Harris's bid for the top job after Biden endorsed his vice president as he dropped out of the race.
Former prosecutor Kamala Harris is going to be the right person to hold Donald Trump accountable.
She is going to win this race, and she is going to win it with massive support.
She has fought hard for freedoms and for rights of Americans, and she is a genuine leader.
Former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi pledged her enthusiastic support, writing, "I have full confidence that she will lead us to victory in November." The money is also pouring in, the Harris campaign raising more than $50 million in less than 24 hours.
Vice President Kamala Harris has excited the community.
Harris still has to officially win over Democratic delegates who vote in the party's nominee, but she's unlikely to face any challengers. Democrats eager to come together after weeks of party chaos.
You know, the president took the honorable path. For him and for so many of us, it's not just the legacy,
it's moving forward.
As Democrats coalesce, Republicans are already on the offensive, unveiling this attack ad against Harris just hours after Biden dropped out.
Look what she got done. A border invasion, runaway inflation, the American dream dead. They created this mess.
A preview of what's likely in the weeks to come as Harris works to shore up Democratic support and then, she hopes, make her case to the American people. Ellen Morrow, CBC News, Toronto.
Well, as a heat wave extends into its fourth week in parts of Western Canada, crews are bracing for spreading wildfires. Thick smoke from existing fires is already causing health concerns in British Columbia and Alberta. Several areas in BC's Caribou region are now under evacuation orders because of a massive fire in Antler Creek. Crews are scrambling to save Barkerville, an historic gold rush town.
We've been working with the Barkerville team, putting up sprinklers and tying into the 9 existing fire hydrants.
Fire crews have withdrawn from the Shetland Creek fire in BC's southern interior because of the risk they might get trapped there. That fire is burning in areas near the Trans-Canada Highway. More than a dozen buildings have already been destroyed in the region. In Williams Lake, located in the central interior of the province, a state of emergency has been declared. Crews are battling flames on the outskirts of town. That global IT outage last week meant we couldn't do our birthday and anniversary greetings at our usual time on Friday, so let's have a look now. Happy 50th anniversary to Gary and Pamela Hillier of St. Anthony. Congratulations to Tom and Edna Tulk of Corner Brook, who are celebrating their 64th anniversary. Happy 58th anniversary to Thomas and Verna Moulton of St. John's. Wishing Ernest and Linda Walker of Winterton a happy 50th anniversary. Happy 54th anniversary to Larry and Doris Cumby of Paradise. Happy anniversary to Frank and Cora Douglas of Grand Bank. They're marking 51 years of marriage. Happy anniversary to Rowena and Windsor Wheaton from Fredericton. They're marking 50 years together. Wishing Carl and Ruth Gowdy of Deer Lake a happy 66th anniversary. Happy 64th anniversary to Lawrence and Marina Penny of Lewisport. Anniversary greetings going out to Colin and Donna Manuel of Corner Brook. They're marking 55 years of marriage. Congratulations to Max and Joan Burt from St. John's on their 64th anniversary. 50th anniversary wishes going out to Mary and Bert Strickland of Beta Spear. Wishing Ray and Madonna Gulliver of Paradise a happy 60th anniversary. Happy anniversary to Reg and Lucy Parsons. They're marking 65 years of marriage. Wishing Tom and Thelma Ricketts of Labrador City a happy 50th anniversary. Rita and Cletus Parsons of St. John's are celebrating their 61st anniversary. Happy 55th anniversary to Gordon and Marilyn Lee of Hare Bay. Congratulations to Ray and Carol O'Brien on their golden anniversary. Happy 52nd wedding anniversary to George and Nancy Durnford of Francois. Wishing George and Janet Jarrett a very happy 66th anniversary. They're from Brigus and now live in St. John's. Happy 61st anniversary to Linda and Marjorie Stratton in Corner Brook. Anniversary greetings going out to Lawrence and Anne-Marie Mary, who are celebrating their 50th anniversary. Wishing Marge and Don Aylward of Corner Brook a very happy 58th anniversary. It's a 51st anniversary for Janice and Nelson Eason from Conception Bay South. Wishing Max and Shirley Stacy of Badger a happy 54th anniversary. Congratulations to Jack and Glennie Stuckless of Badger, now living in Springdale. It's their 63rd anniversary. Happy 50th anniversary to Bill and Carmel Conway in Mount Pearl. Happy anniversary to Joe and Sylvia Morris of Robinsons. They're celebrating 63 years together. Wishing Michael and Diane Clements a very happy 58th anniversary. Anniversary greetings going out to Jerry and Betsy O'Brien in CBS on their 50th. Happy 52nd anniversary to Frank and Rose Pierce of Musgrave Harbor. Shirley and George Hart from the Goulds are celebrating a golden anniversary. Congratulations. Now to some birthdays. Happy birthday to Edgar Sevier of Lawrencetown, who just turned 91. Birthday greetings going out to Austin Patey on his 92nd birthday, celebrating in River of Ponds. Happy birthday to Teresa O'Brien from St. John's, who just turned 95. Happy 90th birthday from family and friends to Alex Powell in Corner Brook. It's a 93rd birthday to Mary Corbett of Holyrood. Wishing Christina O'Keefe of St. John's a happy 90th birthday. Birthday greetings go out to Patricia Young of Grand Falls, Windsor, who just turned 90. And happy birthday to Felix Maloney of Somerville, who is celebrating his 94th birthday today. Oh, another fine crowd. Congratulations once again. And Ashley, it was such a beautiful weekend. We were talking about that earlier. Is this nice weather going to continue?
For a couple more days, it certainly is. The drier air, the more comfortable weather will continue, and temperatures are going to warm up a little bit as we head through the week. So let's take a look at what's going to happen as we roll through this week. Now, tomorrow evening, they're looking at the chance of some showers up across the Big Land, but they should clear out by the time we get into Wednesday morning. Now, areas along the south coast of the island may pick up or may see a few showers. It does look cloudy, at least to start the day on Wednesday, and then the potential slight chance, but you may see a few showers pop up across the Big Land as well. Most of the day, though, should be sunny, and temperatures are going to be into the 20s, anywhere from 20 to about 22 degrees up across Labrador. And the island will see temperatures a little bit warmer as well, anywhere from 22 to 25 degrees through the day. Again, more comfortable air. Relatively light winds as well. But again, I do think that the southern areas of the island may see some cloud cover and potentially some fog linger through the day on Wednesday. As we head into Thursday, again, another beautiful start to the day for most areas. Again, some fog may start the day, but it should turn into a beautiful afternoon. Then we will see some rain develop Thursday evening for western portions of the Big Land, maybe the north coast as well. And there is a potential we'll see a few showers across the Avalon, at least southern areas of the Avalon on Thursday evening as well. Overall, daytime highs will be, again, similar, 21 to 25 degrees through the day. And this is when we may feel a bit of humidity start to move in. But overall, the daytime highs up across Labrador, again, warming up 21 to 25 degrees through the day. And again, the potential for some humid air as we see that southerly flow move in through the day. But again, some shower activity for Lab West. Overall, the long-range forecast doesn't look too bad. However, there is a chance we will see some rain on Friday, potentially Thursday evening and into Friday. Going to keep an eye on that one with a few showers lingering as we head into Saturday morning. But the trend through the day on Saturday, at least at this point, looks like it should clear out. Now we'll see a bit of dip in the temperatures on Friday, but return to that 20-degree temperature by the time we get into Saturday, and our overnight lows anywhere from 10 to about 15 degrees as well for St. John's and eastern Newfoundland. Now for Central, you are looking at that rain potential on Friday as well. This is not a bad thing. We're certainly going to need some rain, especially after the dry weather that we've had. And overall, your daytime highs between 20 to 25 degrees, the coolest on Friday, warming up a bit on Saturday. And same thing for western Newfoundland, but note your overnight temperatures dipping into the single digits as we get into towards the end of the week. For eastern Labrador, clouds on the increase as we head into Thursday. Friday, looking at the chance of some showers, a little dip in temperatures there, but we are looking at a daytime high around 24 degrees on Saturday. For western Labrador, a few showers for you on Thursday as well. By Friday, looking beautiful, 19 degrees, 22 on Saturday, and plenty of sunshine. Our photo today, great shot of Topsail Beach here.
Wow.
Nice sunset
Really
sky.
nice. The clouds are gorgeous.
Those also cumulus clouds always lead to beautiful sunsets. Thank you to Sherry for this great one. I'm sure there's lots of other photos out there as well. If you would like to email them to me, you can do that by sending them to nlphotos@cbc.ca, or you can also send them to my Facebook page there.
Oh, lovely spot to sit back and watch the sunset on Topsail Beach. I haven't been out there in a while.
I know, me neither. Should head out there for a little bit.
Yeah, nice place to go for a little hike too.
That's true.
Well, that's it for us on this Monday. Thank you so much for spending part of your evening with us.
Good night.